Hi guys, it's Ash from Envii. In today's video we're going to be covering green water. You could argue it's probably the most common pond problem. So there are going to be some bookmarks below. Feel free to skip to the most relevant part for you. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Before we actually dive into green water, I think it's worth just pointing out that it's not actually bad for a pond or fish. If anything, some fish can see it as a good food source, but obviously it's not nice to look at. It does limit you being able to see the fish and any wildlife that are in the pond. But generally speaking, it's not too bad, although you don't really want it. Green water is formed by thousands, millions of microscopic algae spores that bind together. They will feed off of the amount of nutrients in a pond. If your pond is very high in nutrients, this creates a perfect environment for green water to be able to keep growing, and it will grow at a rapid rate, which is why you can see a pond go from 0 to 100 in a matter of days/weeks. So it's something you really need to keep an eye on. So the nutrients comes from a number of things, but ultimately it comes from fish waste, wasted fish food, so an excessive amount of that, but also sludge at the bottom of the pond. The more fish you have, the more sludge you're going to have. So the sludge buildup can also come from things like leaves and twigs. So if you don't have a net on your pond and there's a lot of trees and bushes and whatnot nearby, there's a very high chance that them leaves and twigs will actually end up going into your pond. Anything you can do to stop that as well is great, but ultimately that's where the sludge comes from. Essentially, this is what creates an ideal environment for green water. So how do you treat for green water? Now the key to it really is bacteria. When the water goes green in a pond, this does suggest that something in the pond's ecosystem is out, and all you need to do is use bacteria. So we've obviously got a couple of products that will do the job for that. So we've got Pond Klear, and then we've got Pond Klear Xtra. What this does essentially is it will clump together all the green water, because remember, it's microscopic algae spores, so the bacteria can clump it all together and bring it to the bottom of the pond. That way it can then get picked up by your pump, pushed up through to the filter, and then the more you clean the filter, the more you will empty, the waste in the pond, and essentially it clears the green water. By this targeting the green water, it does also target the nutrients in there. That's what feeds the green water. But this also feeds things like algae, blanket weed, duckweed, that type of thing. So by using this as more of a preventative in the future, every 7 days, effectively it will stop the growth in all of that, and then your pond should be nice and clear throughout the summer. For the rest of the year, you can use it in winter as well. But if your pond's not been looked after for quite some time and it's gone really green, then this is definitely the best product for you to use. Pond Klear doesn't contain as much bacteria than what Pond Klear Xtra does, but this can work in ponds that are just starting to go green or a bit smaller. So if your pond is anywhere from around 3,000 to 4,000 litres or less, then I would recommend Pond Klear. Whereas if you've got a bit of a larger pond, then Pond Klear Xtra is definitely the best one for you. So the next step we're going to cover is how to prevent green water. Now it can be easier said than done, and it may take some time to eventually get to that point, but we're going to go through a few steps that you can implement, essentially to try and ensure that it doesn't return once you've cleared it. The first step we'll go through is plants. Plants, and everyone will know this, but plants are very beneficial for being able to maintain a good ecosystem within a pond. Essentially, plants will absorb all the excess nutrients in the water. Obviously, as you remember earlier on in the video, we mentioned that the nutrients is what feeds the green water. So if you have a good amount of plants in the pond, essentially that's going to take away that food source because they all share the same one. Koi owners will not really have plants, and that's purely because the koi will see it as a good food source for them. So they'll just keep eating all of them pretty much, and it becomes really expensive for them to just keep replenishing that. If you've got any goldfish variants in your pond, then plants become very beneficial for the overall health of the pond, but also the fish as well. Flowers, water lilies, or even oxygenating plants. They all absorb and digest phosphates and nitrogen, which essentially will help prevent problems such as like nitrates being high in the pond. So the next step we're going to cover is just having a good filtration system with strong UV lights. The main reason being ultimately it obviously helps with circulating the water in a pond, so that will prevent it from becoming stagnant. When the water is picked up through the pump, flushed through to the filter, that's where it will then meet the UV light, and then obviously it comes out the other end. So it's a continuous cycle. Something that's very beneficial to have is anything from like a fountain or a waterfall. Even air stones, anything like that will help essentially just create more oxygen in the water. So once you've cleared the green water, it's very beneficial to keep going with a product like Pond Klear Xtra. Now, we're not saying you need to use it indefinitely, but it's beneficial to do that. But even using it for the next few weeks after you've cleared the green water is still largely beneficial. Ultimately, using this weekly will keep the water clear. So we've got multiple pond products in our range, and we understand that from time to time it can be quite confusing or even overwhelming in terms of what to do if your pond goes green or if you notice any other anomalies in your pond. We have a support team at hand who are more than happy to help with any inquiries, whether it be big or small. Our contact details are on screen now. So you can contact us over the phone, on email, or even on a live chat on our website. Either one is fine for us. Lastly, just thank you for watching. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch the video and just give us a chance. If you do have any questions, feel free to comment below, and we're more than happy to help where we can. Any support you can give the channel by liking this video or subscribing to it would be very much appreciated. It does help us massively. But yeah, thanks for watching.